Uh, the trend nationally has been to recognize relationships between people of the same sex. There have been 5 states now which have given full marriage equality to members of the same sex. Other states have sanctioned civil unions. Still other states have sanctioned domestic partnerships. Some states have recognized same-sex marriage performed in other states. And some states have a limited relationship recognition laws. Where there has been such a significant trend to giving at least recognition to civil unions, I believe it is entirely consistent to accord people that opportunity on immigration, so that if you have a same-sex union, to give equal standing as really a civil rights issue, not necessary to get into the issue as to whether it would be constitutionally protected with the different status of an undocumented immigrant, for example. But I think Senator Leahy's legislation goes in the right direction, and I support it. The issue of same-sex marriage has changed very materially since the Defense of Marriage Act was passed in 1997. At that time, there was a very substantial vote, 86-14, and I was among the 86. Former President Clinton has made an interesting comment about same-sex marriage when asked about his own judgment on it. I think it is accurate to say that he remarked that his views were evolving, which may be a fair statement as to what's happening nationally remains to be seen. But it is my hope that an issue like this will not prove to be so controversial that it derails our efforts to have comprehensive immigration reform. In 2006, this committee passed out a comprehensive immigration reform bill. It had passed the Senate. There was a bill which passed the House, and the House would not go to conference, really largely along political lines. Their bill was not comprehensive, only dealt with the wall and employer verification. The political calculation boomeranged, and the House went down to substantial defeat, and the Senate, by 1 vote, changed control. In 2007, the committee did not take up the issue, and there was an ad hoc committee, and a bill was taken to the floor and was not successful. The issue of citizenship was a major concern, which I think led to the bill's defeat. But on the chronology, the comprehensive bill provided that the undocumented immigrants, estimated at 12 million, nobody knows for sure how many, could be as many as 20 million, would come at the end of the line, which had a process of about 13 years. So the citizenship was very far distant. I introduced a discussion bill in July of 2007, which made a couple of changes. One was on the family reunification issue, which was considered in the ad hoc deliberations, and I think not wisely decided, without hearings and without the customary markup. And my bill provided that the fugitive status would be changed to try to bring people out of the so-called shadows to be in a position to be identified so that we could deport the criminal element. That is doable. You can't deport 12 million people. Get the people out of the so-called shadows so they pay taxes and have standing in society. The hearing has run late, and I do not propose to ask for many questions. We don't often have a person of the stature of Mr. Julian Bond. Mr. Bond, would you care to give a reaction to a proposal which would seek to remove a major impediment to political success by leaving immigration to another date? It's going to be delayed 13 years in any event. A lot can happen in 13 years. But if we did not have immigration as citizenship as an immediate consequence, I think it might alter a lot of attitudes and remove a major impediment to comprehensive reform. What do you think?
Thank you, Senator. It may well allow for some time for consideration of other issues, but as you said about the question of same-sex marriage, the trend in this country is changing, as witnessed by the several states that have legalized it and other states that have provided some kind of domestic partnerships or something. I think the likelihood is also true about immigration as a general topic and what we ought to do about it. And although we put it off for 13 years, I'd hate to think we'd put it off for another 13 or even another 1 or 2. I think we have a president who wants to do a lot of things as quickly as he can, and I'm glad that he is, because I think for too long we put things aside and waited for a more proper moment.
I didn't quite follow your view as to my suggestion that we make the immediate change on eliminating the fugitive status.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about delaying the prospects of immigration discussion of the general larger question.
I'm not proposing delaying it. I'm proposing, since citizenship is not realistic for the undocumented 12 million for a long period of time, because even under the legislation which the Senate passed, comprehensive, people were satisfied to put them at the end of the line. I don't think you can put them at the beginning of the line. But if you made a change and just removed the fugitive status, I think there'd be a tremendous difference in the way we treat the undocumented immigrants.
I think so, Senator. I'm sorry, I completely misunderstood the question you were asking, but I think so.
Would you be willing to go along with deferring the citizenship question and try to move ahead with comprehensive reform by just removing the fugitive status?
Senator, I'm speaking here today on behalf of a small d Democratic organization which makes decisions slowly, and I'm not in a position to say yes we would or yes we wouldn't.
Well, would you care to give a personal opinion having disclaimed your representative status?
No, probably not.
Okay. Fair enough. You have a right to remain silent.
Thank you.
Nothing you say will be used against you. Thank you all very much for coming, and that concludes our hearing.